Welcome everyone to Yoga Basics. Today the props we're going to be using are a yoga strap or even a belt if you don't have a strap. And if you have 2 blocks, grab 2 blocks. And we'll be using a chair, so just have your chair nearby also. Always good to be sitting on some folded blankets. So fold up a couple blankets and sit on them. You can either have the legs extended or folded. And then we'll go ahead and prepare by just taking a few moments to turn the attention inward, just shutting out the busyness and chaos of the day. Taking note as to how your body feels. Especially any areas of tension or tightness. And then we'll take 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale. And exhale it all out. And then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. And then turn the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then we'll begin a nice even breathing, inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just continue with this nice, even breathing. If at any time it makes you lightheaded or dizzy, just go back to your own normal breathing pattern. And then we also set an intention for each practice to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or a phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. If you did have your legs crossed and you want to switch that top leg, go ahead and do that. And then beginning the warm up, we'll turn our heads to look out over that right shoulder. And coming back to center and turning to look out over the left. And back to center, dropping the chin to the chest. And then picking the chin up towards the ceiling and jutting that lower jaw out. And coming back to center and dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center and left ear to left shoulder. And back to center, extending the hands out in front, open and close the fingers. And then some wrist circles. And reverse. Good. And then bringing the hands back to the lap, and we'll begin some shrugs. Just picking those shoulders up, pulling them back down. And the next time you pick the shoulders up, roll them to the back. Good. And then bringing the elbows and the palms together. And then with an inhale, extending those arms out and squeeze those shoulder blades. And exhale back to center. Inhale, open the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades. Exhale, center. Good. Couple more. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then go ahead and release the arms down and just kind of wiggle it out a little bit. And then taking the right hand, placing it to the outside of that right hip, and then inhale, sweep the left arm up, and exhale then to the right. And then release back to center, switch arms to inhale and exhale to the left. Releasing back to center, coming into a twist. Place the left hand on the right knee, inhale to lengthen, and exhale, turn and look to the right. Bring that right hand around behind you. And then release back to center, switch hands, inhale to lengthen, and exhale, turn and look to the left. Good. And then release back to center. And then extending the legs out in front of you. If you did have those legs crossed, just shake those legs out a little bit. And then taking your hands, placing them behind the right thigh, pulling that knee in towards you, and then extending it out. Warming up the knee and the thigh. And the next time you pull it in, hold it there and point and flex the foot. And then some ankle circles. And reverse. Good. And then switch legs, same thing. Just bend and extend the leg. And then that next time, pull it in, hold it there, point and flex the foot. And some ankle circles. And reverse. Good. And then bring that left leg down. We'll come onto hands and knees. And we're going to do a warm-up on hands and knees also. So right now, you may want to go ahead and just open up your blanket to give you some extra padding for your knees and shins. And we'll start by coming into hands and knees, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees approximately right underneath the hips. And with an inhale, lift the chest and the sits bones, arching the spine for cow. With the exhale, rounding the back, pressing into those hands, dropping the chin for cat. And then inhale, back to cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. And then bringing the spine back to neutral, we're going to do some hip and glute warm-ups. So you're going to shift the weight over to the left knee, and then pick your right leg up out to the side. So you're going to keep it bent, bring it back in, and just lift it back out. So just this lift and lowering of that right knee. Good. Do one more here. Bring that right knee down, shift the weight. Let's try it on the left. So we'll just lift and lower. The leg stays at that 90 degrees. Good. One more here. Good. Now, shift the weight back to the left leg, and you're going to pick up the right thigh. So now the sole of your foot is pressing up towards the ceiling. So flex your foot, and then you're going to press that foot up towards the ceiling. This one, you're really going to feel in those glutes. Good. So just a couple more here. It's called a donkey kick. So you're just kicking like a donkey would. Good. One more. Good. Shift the weight. Let's try it on the other side. So bend, flex your foot, press the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Good. Do one more here. Good. Bring that left shin back down, and then we'll come into child's pose. So we'll take a few breaths here just to rest it out. And then extending the arms back out in front, come back up to hands and knees. And then you can either come into puppy, so extending those fingertips and then dropping the chest down, staying right here on your knees, or coming into downward facing dog. So curling the toes, pressing into those hands, extending up. Good. Keep a bend in the knees. And then just slowly begin to straighten one leg and then the other. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then with the exhale, come back down, two hands and knees, and then we'll come up to standing from here. So either pick that leg up, bring it forward, come up here, or curl your toes, rock back onto the balls of the feet. I usually fold my blanket at this point, and then come up to standing. All right. So let's go ahead and get everything set up. for standing. So let's take your chair, bring that to the short end of the mat. At least the front legs should be on the mat to prevent it from sliding. If you're near a wall, that's always best to push the back of the chair to the wall. And then take your blocks and place them on the long end of the mat, right in front. Just so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm just going to kind of put them to the side right now, but the blocks will be on the long end of your mat. All right, so we're going to warm up a little bit standing before we get into our postures. So we'll start by standing in mountain pose, finding the four corners of the feet. So weights between the balls of the feet and the heels. Spread your toes, and then bring those toes down, but you don't have weight in the toes. You can still move them around. Tighten up the front of the thighs. Lift and tighten the abdominals. Focus on the spine, lengthening up from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. Good. Arms are alongside the body, a few inches away from it. Palms facing each other. Picking the shoulders up, rolling them down the back. Lifting the chest. Gazing forward. Good. And continue to breathe. Good. Now from here, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, take your right index finger and thumb and grab the back of your left wrist. Good. And then take one more nice big inhale to lengthen, and then exhale. So with that right hand, you're just going to gently pull that left arm to the right as you bend to the right. Getting a nice stretch on that left side. Good. Come back to center. Switch hands. Again, with your next inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, bend to the left. Good. Release to center. Let's try that again on each side. So now I'm grabbing the back of my left hand. Lengthen. And exhale, bend to the right. Good. Release to center, switch hands, lengthen, and exhale, bend to the left. Good. Back to center, release those arms down, wiggle it out a little bit. You're probably feeling that in your shoulders. Good. So now we're just going to do a little twist. And you're just going to let those arms swing. So this is actually called Vasisthasana, which means elephant. Ganesh is the elephant in Hindu. So you're going to look like an elephant swinging its trunk. But what we're doing actually is just doing this very nice, easy twist. Let your knees be soft. Good. Again, just loosening up the spine. Good. All right, come back to center. Again, just kind of wiggle it out. All right, so now we're going to come into warrior two. So you're going to come into that wide stance. And make sure your chair is somewhat close. We are going to be using it, or is going to be there for triangle. So if you want to use it for triangle, then, make sure it's close enough for that. But we'll start in warrior two. So the left foot's going to stay facing forward. You're going to continue, move these out of the way, to turn the right foot out at 90 degrees. And then line up that right heel with the instep of the left foot. And then bend your right knee. So keep the knee right over the ankle. Inhale, bring the arms up to shoulder height. Remember, from the waist up, you've turned and faced the front. Good. And then looking out over that middle right finger, continue to breathe. Good. And then with an inhale, we're going to come into reverse warrior. So left hand goes on the left thigh. Inhale as you reach that right arm up. Good. And then exhale, we're going to go right into triangle. So now you're going to straighten the right leg, reach to the right, and then bring that right arm down. Here's where the chair can come in handy too. Good. Then inhale, bend the right knee, come back to warrior two. Good. Inhale, come into reverse warrior. Good. Inhale, as you come up, straighten the right knee. Exhale, lean to the right, bring the right hand down either on your thigh, shin, or the chair. Come into triangle. Good. Let's try that once more. Inhale, and then exhale as you bend that right knee, come back into warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, straighten the right knee, lean to the right again, right hand on the chair, thigh or shin, coming into triangle. Good. And then with your next inhale, lift the torso. Exhale, bring the arms down. Now, we're going to take this over to the left side, but before we do that, we're going to turn the right foot in. I'm going to give you an option. So we want to take the chair over to that side anyway. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold. Here's where your blocks may be handy, or take your chair, since you're going to move it over to the left anyway, you can put your chair in the long end of the mat and use that as you come forward for your forward fold, because this takes up a lot of space. And what I'm doing, I'm just going to go ahead and move mine already over to the left, and I'm going to use my blocks here. So whatever's best for you. We're staying in our wide stance. Place your hands right here on these leg creases. Take a nice big inhale to lengthen. And then remember, you're bending from the hip. So as you exhale, you're going to shift the weight towards the hips, coming forward, keeping the back straight. Now, if you have the chair, you can place your hands on the chair. Focus on that low back. You don't want that rounded. So if you need the chair here, just put your hands on the chair, maybe folding your forearms or putting your hands on your blocks. And you can experiment with whatever height. Again, as long as that low back stays straight. And then coming down, just let the head relax. You may even be able to, I might be a little bit here to do this. If your hamstrings are tight, then just keep a bend in the knee. So wherever you are, lots of options here. Good. But the important thing is to keep that low back straight. Good. And breathe. Just relax the head wherever you are. Good. And then to come out of the pose, come back up to about 90 degrees. Place your hands back on those leg creases. And then inhale, lift the torso. Good. All right. We're going to take warrior two, reverse, and triangle over to the left. I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit here. So now the right foot will stay forward. Turn the left foot out. Line up your heel with your right instep, and then bend the left knee. So we'll start in warrior two. From the waist up, you're going to face the front. Inhale, bring those arms up. And then exhale, turn and look out over that middle left finger. Good, and take a couple of breaths. Press into that left heel and the right pinky toe, that side of the foot. Good, all right, here we go. Inhale, right hand to the right thigh, lift that left arm up. You're doing like a little side / back bend here. And then exhale, straighten the left leg, push the weight into the right hip. Bring the left hand down to the chair or maybe the shin or ankle coming into triangle. Tighten that left quadricep. Good. And then inhale, come back to warrior two. So exhale, bend the left knee. Good. Let's take a full breath here. And then with your next inhale, come into reverse. Good. And then exhale into triangle. Good. So lots of options here for that hand, left hand. Take a full breath here. Good. And then inhale. Here's our last time coming back into warrior three. Oh, I'm sorry, warrior two. I don't know where warrior three came from. Warrior two. And then inhale, reverse. Good. And then with your next inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, weight goes into that right hip. Hand on the chair or shin and ankle for triangle. Good. And then inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, bringing the arm down. Go ahead and turn your left foot forward. Walk those feet together. Walk it out. And then we're going to bring the chair back to the other side. And we're going to come into half moon pose. You may want to put one of your blocks on the chair. So have that there as an option. So when you come into half moon, it's the same stance that we had for triangle. So remember we had that wide stance to start, and then we turned the right foot out, left foot is facing forward. Now here's the difference. You're going to shift the weight to the right leg. Hold on to the back of the chair. Just put your left toes on the floor. This might be a little close. And then you're still going to have your pelvis facing forward. So I have the weight in my right leg. Now here's where you can experiment, because what we're going to do is we're going to lift that left leg. So you can have the block on the chair or your hand. You probably want to, I don't know, I feel like I'm a little close to the chair here. Good. All right, so weight's in the right leg. Your pelvis is facing forward. As you begin to lift the left leg, see if you can straighten the right leg. Good. You can keep your hand on your hip. You can extend it up. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then go ahead and as you inhale, come on up. Exhale, bring that left leg down. And then we'll try it on the other side. So I'm going to move my chair. So again, you can use the block for your right hand. You want to start in that wide stance. Turn your right foot. And I was actually probably a little close to the chair. So I would have your foot probably almost not quite a foot away from the chair, maybe about 6 or 8 inches. All right, So bend the left knee, shift the weight to the left leg. So you're going to slide your right foot in so just the toes are on the floor. Now again, my pelvis is going to face forward. I'm going to bring my right hand to the chair or the block in the chair. And then as I begin to lift the left leg, I'm going to straighten the right leg. My left hand can stay on my hip or extend it up. Good. And then continue to breathe. Good. And then exhale, bring the right leg down. Inhale, lift the torso. Go ahead and step those legs forward. Shake it out. Aren't you glad we warmed up those glutes so you could do that? You may feel it a little bit in those glutes tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and put the chair to the side. And then we're going to come down on the mat. And we're going to come into side plank. So we'll start on the right side. Now remember, you've got 3 options for side plank. You can keep the knees bent and the legs stacked on one another. You're going to come down on your forearm. Just have the elbow underneath the shoulder. And then just using those left fingertips for support. Try not to lean forward on that left hand. See if you can lift your hips. You can even put your hand on your hip if you want, or you can extend it up. So this is option 1. Option 2, extending the legs, then you would lift the hips and the knees. Or you can do side plank on this side. I usually do a tandem thing here. Good. So if you want to build strength in that wrist, this is a good way to do it. I can only do it on this one side because of my elbow and stuff on the other side. So whatever is best for you. All right, let's go ahead. Now we're going to do it for 30 seconds. I don't expect you to hold it for the whole 30 seconds. So just lift, hold for as long as you can, and then take a break until the 30 seconds is up. You could try it again. All right, I'm going to come here and try to hold this for 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Ready? Begin. Good. Now the key here is keeping that side body lifted. Continue to breathe. Ten seconds. Good. And release. That is hard, isn't it? All right. Well, let's shift it over to the other side. And again, like I have to make a modification on this side because I have occasionally shoulder, elbow issues. So I don't want to push it too much. So I'm going to stay here with my knees and just lift my hips. Okay? So you make whatever modification you need to. All right, here we go. 30 seconds. Begin. But I'm still lifting up through the side of the body. Trying not to let my rib cage sag. Continue to breathe. Five seconds. Good. All right, let it go, rest it out. And then from here, we're going to come down on our backs. All right, let's just take a couple of breaths here and stretch it out. Just lengthen those legs, lengthen the arms. Just get a good stretch here. Should feel nice. Good, and then bring those arms back alongside the body. Bend the knees, walk your feet in towards your sits bones, and we're going to come into bridge. So bridge, same kind of thing as side plank. It's all just, body strength. So do it for however long that you can, and then take a break when you need to. Now, the key here is you want to activate the hamstrings. So as you begin to lift your hips, press into your heels, and then imagine you're trying to slide your feet down the mat. That will activate those hamstrings. If you keep the upper arms on the mat, you can press into the upper arms. That will also help to give you some lift. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Again, you do for however long as you can. All right, here we go. Good. Continue to breathe. So whenever you need to, just lower your hips down. Just pause and see if you can come back up. That's how you eventually just build strength, just holding for as long as you can. Good. All right, exhale, lower those hips down. Release your arms. Just rest it out. Good. And then from here, we're going to roll onto our side. Push yourself back up into a seated position. Grab your folded blanket, and you'll want to sit up on your folded blanket or even your block. We're going to do a twist called half fishes. It is a nice twist to do on the block, and you'll notice a difference if you're sitting up on the block. Have your strap nearby also. All right, so this particular pose or twist, you can either keep your right leg straight, or you can bend the right knee, pick up that right ankle, bring it underneath your left leg so that your right foot is towards the outside of your left hip. So it's going to depend on how much flexion you can have in that right knee. So if this is uncomfortable for you, just stay here. Then you're going to pick up the left foot and bring it to the outside of the right knee. So even if your leg is straight, just step this foot on the outside. So we're going to be turning to the left. Try to distribute your weight evenly between the sits bones. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale. The left lower ribs or right lower ribs turn first. Wrap your right arm around that left knee. Pull it in towards you. Bring your left hand around behind you as you turn and look to the left. Good. And then with your exhale, release the twist back to center. Pick up that left foot, and then if you had your right foot under, extend it out, and then try it on the other side. So same thing here, left leg can be straight, or then the right knee as you pick up the left foot and bring it over, shift my blanket over a little bit, to the outside of the right hip. Then pick up that right foot, step it to the outside of the left knee. Good, distribute your weight evenly. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, now the left lower ribs will turn to the right as you take that left hand, wrap it around that right knee, pull it in towards you. Bring the right hand around behind you as you exhale and turn to look out over that right shoulder. Come back to your nice, even breathing. Take a few more breaths. Good. And then releasing back to center, uncross that right foot, and then staying on your blanket or your block. You can try it on the block. The blanket would probably be a little bit better. But we're going to come into what's called Paschimottanasana. So it is a forward bend. Taking your strap, having both legs extended, you're going to put the strap around the balls of the feet, both feet, holding on to the opposite ends of the strap, sitting up nice and tall. Here's where the block, folded blanket, will help to lift the pelvis. So as you tilt forward a little bit, it helps to not have that rounding in the low back. We want to avoid that. And then extending the arms down the strap, and then pull the shoulders down the back. Good. So as you tilt forward just a little bit, again, keeping the back straight, just walk the hands down, but pull the shoulders down the back, tighten the top of the thighs, pressing them towards the mat. Continue to breathe. Good, and then with the inhale, go ahead and release, bring the torso up. Go ahead and put your strap to the side. And then we're going to come back down on our backs for a hip opener. And then we'll go into Savasana. So if you want to have anything else near you for that, maybe your blankets and socks, things like that. All right. So rolling onto your side, coming down, and then on your back. And we'll come into this pre-bridge position. So knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. And we're going to take the right leg and cross it over the left thigh. Now, if you've had a hip replacement, you've been told not to cross your thighs, then you can come into what we call pigeon. So just keeping a relaxed pigeon. Just have the ankle cross the thigh. If you're okay crossing the thighs here, actually, if you have your strap nearby, then you could use your strap too, because we're going to pick up that left foot, pull the knees in towards the chest. You could put your hands behind your thighs, or you could wrap your strap here. Mine's over there, I can't reach it. But now, if you're a little more flexible, then you can hold on to your opposite shin, ankle, even the top of the foot, and gently pull that in towards you. That's going to deepen the stretch. Good. And then just continue to breathe. Good, and then with your exhale, bring that left foot down and cross the right thigh. Try it on the other side. So crossing here, and then picking that right foot up as you pull the knees in towards you, either holding the back of the right thigh or holding on to those opposite shins or ankles. And just gently, very gently, pulling them in towards you. So really focus in on how the hips feel. You should just be feeling a nice deep stretch. Good. And then go ahead and release. Bring that right foot back down to the mat. And then from here, we'll come into Savasana. So extending those legs, doing whatever you need to be comfortable, maybe putting on some socks, having a blanket under your head or something under your knees. And while you're doing that, I'm going to come up to seated. So you're going to stay on the mat. So as you make yourself comfortable, legs are extended out in front of you, about 6 inches apart or so. Arms a little bit away from the body. Rotate those palms up towards the ceiling, opening up the chest. And closing the eyes. Turning the attention back to the breath. Again, notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then after your next inhale, begin to lengthen the exhale. And continue lengthening each exhale until they become about twice as long as the inhale. And then turn the attention to the physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release any tension or tightness. And then focus on the mind. Release any thoughts, worries, or anxieties. And if these try to come back in without any judgment, just acknowledge them and release them. Turning the attention back to the breath. Notice the inhale and notice the exhale. And allow yourself just a few moments to completely let Begin to deepen your breath. And then start moving your fingers and toes. And then the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position. And taking a few breaths here. And using your left hand to support you, pushing yourself back up into your seated position. And keeping the body relaxed and the eyes closed for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then we'll take one more deep cleansing breath. So take a nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.